Part 1. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 1. The most splendid fireworks in the prologue. Red alert, found an emergency energy burst, distance 0.005 light years, energy level 5s, suspected supernova explosion. The energy warehouse was hit by cosmic rays, and space cannot be jumped during troubleshooting. Lin 11 quietly looked through the huge porthole of the ship to watch the huge star in front of the sudden explosion of life, a deep red sphere with a mass of about 100 times the Sun. This star should have at least 100,000 years of life, isn't it? 0, Lin 11 sighed, his straight and thin figure stood quietly. The universe is always full of accidents, and it will be met sooner or later. In the past 32 years, the owner has successfully evaded nearly 100 accidents, traveled millions of light years, spread over 3 galaxy-class galaxies, and found a full foot. 6 planets suitable for human habitation have become the greatest interplanetary explorers in the Federation. Lin 11's ear echoed a light female voice, which is his intelligent core and the only companion on the long road. 0. Supernova explosion. It is a rare spectacle of the universe. This star will be brighter than 1,000 suns in a short moment, and all of her energy will be completely erupted, even if it is tens of light years away. A gorgeous fireworks, the silence of this galaxy, is enough to pay homage to my coming death. The next moment, endless light and flames sprang up, engulfing the only human being in the vast starry sky and the 7,300-meter-long explorer. Chapter 1. Along with the singing voice, a group of seagulls gently swept across the blue sea and flashed outside the narrow window of the tower. A handsome young man sat obliquely on the edge of the window, his white teeth like a shell bite a green emerald horsetail, his blue eyes looked at the sea in front of him, and his blonde hair drifted with the wind. The secret law imprint, acid flying method has been resolved. It is known that the zero-loop spell has only been completed by the master. The current progress is 23%, and the analysis is in progress. 0. How are you recovering now? The former interstellar explorer Lin 11, now the magic apprentice 11 Wei asked in his mind the companion who came to the new world with him. The basic intelligent module has been repaired, the primary intelligent module cannot be activated, the overall damage degree is 98.7%, the maintenance program cannot be started, the maintenance program is surged. In the mind of 11 Wei, a mechanical and empty female voice echoed. The 0 that has activated the advanced intelligence module has been completely regarded as a real human being, but now only the most basic functions are left. Even so, 0 can still provide a lot of help for himself, assisting in parsing spells, which makes the newly born juvenile Zai master 5 zero-ring spells in just 10 days, and successfully achieved the magic accumulation. The level of high-level magic apprentices. A high-level magic apprentice has the magic to cast 10 zero-ring spells, and when his magic power reaches 20 zero-ring spells, the official magician's door will open to the young talent. Zai Wei's senior, Gatlin's instructor informs everyone to go to the round hall on the 5th floor of the tower. Please be sure to arrive in 5 minutes, said a short teenager with linen hair and freckles, gasping for the blonde teenager. Zai Wei lightly turned and jumped down the windowsill and smiled slightly. Thank you for your reminder, Gaith, we will arrive soon. His long, white fingers stretched out from under the black robes, accompanied by a few crisp and yet the mysterious syllable, in a moment, there is a light blue light flowing at his fingertips. Soon, the light blue halo has appeared at the feet of 2 teenagers. Zero-loop spells, blasts can effectively increase the speed of the caster. After the blast, the speed of the West-West run has exceeded the Olympic 100-meter champion of the Earth Age. However, when the 2 arrived at the round hall on the 5th floor of the tower, almost all the apprentices in the tower had arrived, and the Gatlin mentor had already stood on the steps. The old Gatlin instructor has a white-browed white beard, which is like Gandalf in the movie The Lord of the Rings. Unfortunately, his snarl nose and the insufficiency of the fundus will make Ziwei always have a trace of him. Fear. Gatlin is the only magician of the tower. For decades, he has been dedicated to producing a true magician. To this end, he has provided the apprentices with a complete set of magic books and sufficient casting materials, while the round hall stands all 56 magic apprentices. After Gatlin's mentor on the steps patrolled the magic apprentices in front of him, he nodded with satisfaction, "My children, I'm glad you didn't relax during this time. In yesterday's test, there are no small advances. To this end, I want to recognize outstanding apprentices. Guys, Carter, debut. Congratulations on your successful advanced middle-level magic apprentice. You will be able to enter the third floor of the tower. From then on, the magic books and casting materials of the intermediate area will be open to you. I hope you can continue to work hard." The freckled juvenile Gaith and another little Pudgy walked up the steps, and excitedly received a small silver badge from Gatlin's mentor, representing their successful advancement to the intermediate magic apprentice. "Ziwei, Meryl, out. Congratulations on your success in advanced high-level magic apprentices. You will enter the fourth floor of the tower. All the magic books and casting materials in the tower will be open to you. Become true today. The magician is what I expect from you." Ziwei hurried forward and went with him to a small girl with a yellow hair. At first glance, she was stunted. After receiving a gold badge from the amiable Gatlin instructor, 11 Wei thanked him and walked back to the crowd under the eyes of most magic apprentices. At this time, he suddenly found a little follower behind him, that is, the girl whose hair was yellow and called Meryl. She has been awkwardly imitating her own movements since she took office, so that she has been here. This Meryl seems to be just 14 years old, only came to the tower 3 years ago. In the memory of 11 Wei's finiteness, the girl is not holding a thick big magical classic, but she is carrying out magic experiments in a meticulous manner. Her talent in magic is outstanding. At this moment, Gatlin's voice was also high. "Children, pay tribute to the best of you, the high-level magic apprentice Palin. He is just 17 years old and has been able to display a full 20 zeros ring magic, only one step away from the real magician. Palin, my child, I am proud of you. I will prepare the materials for the promotion ceremony for you, and after 3 days, officially carry out the magician promotion ceremony for you." The eyes of everyone in the audience have become hot. They look like a star-skinned young black-haired youth in the crowd. It is very likely that a new magician will be born in the tower. However, Ziwei was keenly aware that the smile on the face of the future Master Palin seemed to be far-fetched. He was not even as happy as other apprentices. Gartlin's mentor has arrived at the age of the glorious Lord. He has rarely given guidance to the apprentices over the years, so he quickly left the round hall after the recognition. At this moment, a man with gray and white hair, with glasses, and a man with 2 characters, walked quickly to the front of Ziwei. "Ziwei, Meryl, please come with me, I will prepare a new room for you." The old man, named Edward, is a confidant of Gatlin's mentor and a steward of the entire tower. Prior to this, the tower had only 6 high-level magic apprentices. The biggest benefit of this advancement for Ziwei was that he would be able to enjoy separate rooms and laboratories from then on. 11 Wei nodded lightly. His room had nothing but a few sets of changing clothes. It was very easy to move. Unexpectedly, as a girl, Meryl came out of her room, and there were only a few books and a stack of parchment papers with magic runes. The bottom set of magic robes. Ziwei was curious and got together in the ear of Meryl. He asked, "Do you have only 2 magical robes?" The next moment, Meryl's morbid pale neck instantly ignited a red cloud. She snarled in a voice similar to whispering, "A set is dirty, a set of washes, change to wear." The little girl is so shy, and 11 Wei secretly made an evaluation. He is not a person who is good at dealing with people. Otherwise, he will not be alone in the long river. The room belonging to the high-level magic apprentice is about 17 or 8 square meters. It has a large comfortable bed and a thick walnut table. The closed room is filled with soft dark yellow magic lights. The quiet environment makes the whole person they all relaxed and fell into a soft mattress on a large font. Those who are in the past cannot be embarrassed, and those who come can still chase. It is a world with swords and magic, demons and gods. Without any resistance to the supernova explosion, Ziwei maintains the necessary awe and respect for the new world, and wants to live a good life in this world, and become the master is undoubtedly the best choice. The magic of this world is essentially similar to the blue spell, and there is no limit to the spell position. There is no need to prepare spells in advance. The wizards can flexibly display the corresponding spells, while meditation is the most important thing to increase mental power and restore mana. The most basic way. In the Magic Apprentice stage, the performance of the spell is similar to the method of learning to solve a math problem and then recite a language. You must first grasp the structure and texture, but also must be skilled in memory, cannot make any mistakes. In fact, there is a Smart Core Zero assisted Ziwei. The memory part has no difficulty, the only difficulty lies in the understanding and analysis of the spell model. Weak resistance improvement, acid splash, detection magic, detection toxicity, flashing, brightening, freezing radiation, fatigue touch, switching, transcription, secret imprint, magic trick. Existing foundation in the Tower Zero loop spells are already in control, and only the master is still being solved. But these spells are generally not used by eggs. Most of them are auxiliary spells. The splashing power of acid splashes and frozen rays is very limited. The improvement of mental power does not have a way to go to heaven. More effective apprenticeship magic. In fact, the blasting that Ziwei himself researched is a simplified version of the bottom oil of a ring spell. It can be displayed with the power of about 3 standard zero-loop spells. The acceleration effect is only half of the foot soul. High-level magic apprentices, the distance to become a formal magician is only 1 step away. But it has been 6 years since I entered the tower. In the big tower, there is only Gatlin, who does not know the specific order. The magician, and the apprentices who once held the magician promotion ceremony, have never returned, although the official saying is that these formal magicians have left the tower to have a brighter future. But just as Ziwei Huzi thought, the crisp knocking on the door suddenly sounded welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, hottest serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 2. Outside the door is a tall girl with a fine chestnut hair, a curvy body, and a delicate face with a little freckles. Hello, Sister Charlotte. I'm very happy with your visit. Ziwei's graceful body, the girl's only female of the 6 high-level magic apprentices of the tower, is and pretty, almost the only perfect goddess in the heart of all the male apprentices who have just started adolescence in the tower. The 4 floors of the tower have not had a fresh face for half a year. We have discussed a few things. I have a welcome party for you and Meryl in the activity room tonight. I wonder if I can show my face. Charlotte face belled with a warm smile, a pair of blue eyes have swept up and down the west. School sister invites, of course, can't say no. When did the party begin? Ziwei, who was seen by the beauty in front with an aggressive look, was a little surprised at the boldness of the school sister, but still kept the grace. The 6th magic time begins in the afternoon. Remember to be on time, little handsome. Charlotte waved his sleeves and turned away. His long hair was scattered, leaving only a touch of jasmine fragrance. The essential oil extracted from jasmine is one of the important raw materials for micromagic recovery medicine. It is worth a lot of money. At least the pre-advanced Ziwei is not eligible for application. I didn't expect this Charlotte school sister to be extravagant to wash with jasmine essential oil. Hair, it seems that even if you change the world, you still can't underestimate the woman's beauty. Soon, the door knocked and the conversation sounded, and after a while, finally silenced. Compared to centralized management trainees and mid-level magic apprentices, Gao Ta's high-level magic apprentices obviously have strong autonomy and loose environment, which is of course good, but Meryl's situation will make her very difficult to integrate into this group. Zai Wei frowned and hesitated for a long time. He chose to get up and knocked the opposite door. The girl Meryl apparently lacked interpersonal skills. Zai Wei worried that she might not be able to cope with the party tonight. I am really a great person who is helpful. At the moment of opening the door, Zai Wei secretly spit out the channel. The next moment, behind the door is the pale face of Meryl. Her frightened deer generally looks at a blonde teenager who is much taller than her, and her eyes are still flowing. I mean, Charlotte's sister told me to attend a party. I want to see if you need anything to help, Zai Wei said, a little embarrassed. As the only son of a couple who died in the Interplanetary Explorer, he used to sell his parents' legacy after completing his studies from the ship school and started interstellar exploration. Until the moment he died in the supernova explosion, he had not had time to talk about a love. Zai Wei lacks experience in dealing with girls. Meryl had a small, weak body, and with a look like a small animal, the original hard and cold heart of Zai Wei could not help but soften. Charlotte's sister has invited you to the evening party? Have you agreed? Zai Wei asked softly. Meryl nodded, but shook her head sharply. Do you want to go and don't dare to go? Zai Wei thought for a moment and confirmed. Compared with the Charlotte schoolgirl who has begun to show the charm of a mature woman, Meryl can only be regarded as an expired little loli. Meryl nodded lightly. Well, you don't have to worry. In fact, our genius girl Meryl is also a very cute girl. If it is convenient, I will help you prepare in advance, Zai Wei said while he was already walking into the room belonging to the girl, and closed the door. In the eyes of the girl Meryl, although there was a flash of warning in a flash, she did not do anything. She just looked at Zai Wei quietly with a pair of shining big eyes. It seems that there is no dress or anything, but the magical robes of the high-end magic apprentices that have just been distributed are good in texture and style. What you may need is a pair of good shoes and a better hairstyle. It's not difficult for Zai Wei. In Zai Wei Kao, a few short magical syllables were released again, accompanied by a faint blue gleam. A water mirror 30 centimeters high and 20 centimeters wide suddenly appeared in front of the two. Water mirror can summon a water mirror that lasts for a magical spell, and can clearly reflect the image in front of the mirror, consuming the mana of two basic zero-ring spells. Compared with the major spells of protection, necromancer, enchantment, etc., Zai Wei has already found himself more talented in dealing with the traditional four elements of the fire feng shui. Whether it is water mirroring or blasting, Zai Wei, with the help of the Wisdom Core Zero, is analyzed and constructed with less than 5 magic moments. At this time, Meryl seems to have forgotten herself. Her eyes are full of surprise light, and she looks at the small mirror constructed by magic in front of her, as if this is the most precious and beautiful treasure. 11 Wei quickly took out a small piece of comb from the magic robe and began to sort out the long hair that she had not taken care of for the girl. Soon, half a magic time passed. Meryl, how about your new haircut? The soft words in the ear rang and finally let Meryl stop using the mental power to analyze the moves in front of her. This is the first thing she really looks at in the mirror. Yourself. The girl in the mirror has a smooth long hair. The front bangs hangs on the forehead, and the back is divided into 2 ponytails. It is tied with a tendon rope. The delicate double face and the delicate white face are like the lovely double ponytail. Newly peeled lychees, people can't help but want to take a sip. Unfortunately, there is no bow, only the beef tendon rope can be used, Zai Wei sighed, limited by the girl's hair and his own technology, and could not be perfect. At this moment, the girl's eyes in the water mirror had crystal tears falling down the pale pink face, as if the broken pearls were normal. This woman is really made of water. The women's shoes on the tower are mostly shoes and socks, which are the thick cloths of the half shoes and half socks. There is basically no sound when walking, but obviously the appearance is terrible. The men's shoes are all water wooden shoes, only a few thick ropes on the upper, and they walked along the way. As soon as Ziwei arrived here, he accurately painted the styles of several common leather shoes provided by Zero, and sent them to the only workshop on the island through the servant. Leather shoes with uppers, inner linings, heels, and boots. Originally, there was a pair of guys, the only friend in the tower, but the size of the 13-year-old guys was just the same as that of Meryl. At this time, she could only choose MS priority. Meryl, wearing a new magic robe and leather shoes, seems to have grown up a lot in a moment, and began to show the charm of a young girl. Increasingly, the sixth magic time is getting closer and closer, and Ziwei and Meryl came to the activity room on time. Seeing the newly recognized girl Meryl, Charlotte's eyes flashed with amazement. She smiled slightly. "Welcome to the school, learn to learn from the girl. Do you introduce yourself?" "I am Charlotte, at the age of 17, currently 16 zero-ring spells can be applied continuously." Palin, 17, 20. The brown-haired youth sits alone in a velvet high back seat, with deep eyes and no focal length, as if they are swimming. "Hey, this little beauty and handsome blonde, my name is Lyndon, the same name as the King of Prussia who was enthroned in 1747. I am 18 years old and I have been able to display 14 spells. I am very happy to meet you," is a somewhat familiar young curly hair, the skin is between brown and black, born with some hip-hop fan. Yang, 16 years old, the magic is in 17 zero-ring spells. "I am very glad to meet you." This is a very book-filled youth, with dark hair and dark skin, so that Ziwei had to suspect that this seems to be somewhat Oriental descent. Fa Yi, 19 years old, "My name is the far side of the other in the Elvish language. Haha, we have a fresh schoolgirl in our high-level apprentices, alleviating the current lack of beauty resources. I can play 16 apprenticeships. The distance to become a formal magician is still in the foreseeable future. This apprentice body fat, far from looking like a big ball, a person occupying the entire length of the fireplace chair. 8, 16 years old, the magic is in 12 zero-ring spells, and for half a year, I finally have a schoolmate. The last is a teenager with acne," said in an exaggerated tone. 11 Wei, 15 years old, the magic has just arrived at 10 zero-ring spells. "I am very happy to know everyone." 11 Wei did not humble and replied. Although there is a certain degree of competition, these high-level apprentices are generally friendly at the top of all apprentices in the tower. This is to make you accustomed to the various literary and artistic works in the West. Some accidents. In addition to the high coldness of Palin, who is about to be promoted to the official magician, several other high-level apprentices are very easy to get along with. It is only a moment of effort. Ziwei is a group that has been formally integrated into high-level apprentices. The name of Meryl, the book idiot, has already been known to all the apprentices of the tower. Before Linden went to ask for a long time and failed to get a reply, everyone also gave up communication with her, Meryl herself. Just sit directly in the chair and hold the book and look at it. Just as Ziwei just leaned against the windowsill and blew his breath in the evening wind, a gust of wind came. "Very beautiful and unique shoes, isn't it?" "I have never seen it on the tower," Charlotte laughed. "In fact, this is a kind of shoe that is popular in my hometown. My uncle is a shoemaker. I started working in my uncle's workshop when I was 6 years old. I have endured enough wooden shoes and just provided it to the workshop a few days ago." The sketch, in exchange for a few pairs of leather shoes. Ziwei shrugged. "Welcome to the readers to read the latest, fastest, most popular serial works at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Du Du. Chapter 3. This pair of shoes is really eye-catching. Ziwei, do you still remember the scenery of your hometown? I came to the tower at the age of 6, and I have no memory of my hometown. Charlotte is somewhat envious to see the West Dimension. In the memory of the young Ziwei, he had no parents since he was a child. He was raised by aunt and uncle. He grew up in a remote town. When he was 9 years old, he was tricked into a sack with a sugar. He woke up in the cabin. Inside. Almost all the apprentices of the tower came to the tower by boat before the age of 10. It was a black sailboat swaying in the wind and waves, with a powerful and fierce crew member. It's a quiet and beautiful town, with a river running through the town center, and maple leaves that turn red in the fall. The people there are very kind, just like in the tower. When I step into the formal after the magician, I will definitely go back and look at my hometown. Ziwei tried to discover the memory from his mind while trying to disguise himself as a true 15-year-old boy. The more the eyes of Charlotte became brighter, I really want to see the red leaves. Ziwei, can I go to your hometown with you to see? Of course, welcome. Ziwei looked at Charlotte, and both of them showed a smile on their faces. At this moment, Palin, who had been sitting in the high back seat, suddenly got up. His brown eyes swept across the room and said faintly, "You have fun, I will go back to rest." The whole room was quiet for a moment, and even Meryl, who had been immersed in the book, raised her head. Palin looked at the direction of Ziwei intentionally or unconsciously, and then quickly walked out of the activity room. The atmosphere of the entire room was instantly active again. Obviously, Palin, who is about to become a formal magician, has opened a gap with the apprentices present. After being interrupted, Charlotte seemed to suddenly have no interest in the conversation. He hurriedly chatted 2 sentences and hurriedly ended the conversation that had a good beginning. 11 Wei thought about it and got together with Linden and Fa Wei, the 2 seniors. Is it convenient to tell some high-level apprentices what to pay attention to? Fa Wei is obviously a standard otaku, and he is very talkative in front of the same sex. The most important thing is of course the accumulation of magic. Magic is the only standard for promotion to the magician. You must persist in meditation. Don't because of any factor I have lost my daily practice. I think you should have known this before, but then I will tell you something new, that is, strong zero ring spell. Strong zero ring spell, Ziwei responded with a strong counter question, and the brows were gently wrinkled. The tower's magic books only record a total of 13 basic zero-loop spells. These spells require a standard magic. On top of that, there are some strong zeros that require more magic to cast. Spells. The parsing and mastery of these spells allows you to have a deeper understanding of magic, increase the efficiency of meditation and the speed of magic accumulation. Fa Wei shook his chubby fingers, his face explained abruptly. The magician's magic recovery speed is very slow. In addition to the rare magical healing potion and the more rare magical recovery equipment, the normal human magician can only recover up to 1/20th of the magic power when he is awake. Meditation, which can only be held once a day, is not only a means of increasing magic, but also restores the magic of each magician to the upper limit. Ziwei nodded secretly. It seems that the blast and water mirror that he recently analyzed should be so-called strong zero-loop spells, and the rapid increase in the speed of magic is also benefiting from this. In fact, we have mastered more or less strong zero-ring spells except Ade's analysis of the last basic spell Frozen Ray, and Palin has mastered at least 5 strong zero-loop spells. All of the apprentice's strong zero-ring spells are recorded in the book Zero Circles Addendum. All the spells in this book are based on the 13 basic zero-loop spells of the magical apprentices in the tower. Come, you need at least 3 high-level magic apprentices to open each time. You can learn all the spells in this book, of course, you have to pay a price. What is the price? Ziwei continued to ask. The most fair way, of course, is that you use your own strong zero-ring spells to exchange, followed by casting materials, or give us magical assistance. Even if it becomes the top-level high-level magic apprentice in the tower, the casting material can't be supplied indefinitely. Anyone wants to get more casting materials to practice the spell, so some limited casting materials are very popular. The magic assistant needs to display his precious magic value according to the requirements of the other party. It is equivalent to working for the other party. Most of them are repetitive work, and the help for improving the strength is minimal. Thinking of this, Zai Wei made a decision to exchange his original blasting. 11 Wei used to display blasting in front of several people. This is unbearable. It is undoubtedly worthwhile to exchange a new spell. It is obviously better to take the other people's ideas than to build a car behind. Thinking of this, Zai Wei has more expectations for the Zero Ring Addendum. Just after the 8th magic in the evening, Charlotte resigned, and the party ended, not far from the time of bedtime meditation. Zai Wei, who got a lot of useful information from several high-level magic apprentices, walked back to his own room. He just closed the door and his face burst into a bright smile. The door to the official magician has been opened to myself. After only 10 days of crossing, he analyzed 5 spells and increased 3 standard magics to the extent that he could continuously cast 12 zero-ring spells. As long as you can analyze more strong zero-loop spells, I am afraid that you will soon be able to surpass these senior sisters. 0, my good friend, the whole depends on you. After the completion of Zai Wei's wash, he took off his magic robe and lay on the bed, and began the final analysis of the Mage's Hand. Mage's Hand is a rare spell that does not require any casting material at all. It can manipulate an object that is no more than 5 pounds in a telekinesis. This spell is very similar to the Earth Federation's centuries-old concepts such as exclusive function and mind power. When the first morning sun shone through the windowsill on 11 Wei's body, he immediately woke up. Last night's analysis of the Mage's Hand has been basically completed, only need to carry out real spell practice can be mastered, and today is also the use of their own blast to exchange the magic of the zero-ring spell addendum days. These all of them can't wait for Zai Wei to start a new day's efforts. Walking into the library at the core of the 4th floor of the tower, Zai Wei saw a young black-haired man leaning over the desk, and the feather pen in his hand kept writing and drawing on the draft paper. It was the magician apprentice Yang. He was so focused that he did not realize the arrival of Zai Wei. For the first time, Zai Wei entered this small library. Compared with the library on the 3rd floor of the tower, which is suitable for all apprentices, it is small and exquisite. There are not many books on the bookshelf. Zai Wei first saw it. The book of the dark green cover in the eye-catching position, Zero-Ring Spell Addendum. There are 6 different secret imprints on this book, apparently belonging to 6 high-level magic apprentices. This book condenses the wisdom of the high school middle school and is a sleek road to the formal magician. No apprentices don't be nervous about it. Soon, several other high-level magic apprentices came to the small library, and Zai Wei coughed and caught everyone's attention. Every senior school sister, I have solved a spell, maybe it can be classified as strong zero-loop spell. I applied to add this spell to the zero-circle spell addendum and redeem a spell. The words of Zai Wei were thrown into the calm water like a stone, and they swayed in layers. Aide, who has been an advanced high-level magic apprentice for half a year, is still parsing the last basic spell. I didn't expect that Zai Wei, who was just advanced yesterday, has been able to create his own strong zero-loop spell. Everyone, including Palin, stared at Zai Wei with a look and an unbelievable look. This is a spell that increases the speed of the subject. The casting material requires the feathers of the seagull to increase the movement speed of 10-15 feet per second. The duration can be increased according to the magic consumption. At least 5 minutes, I will name it. For blasting. 1 foot here is roughly equivalent to meters on the Earth Federation, which is equivalent to an increase of 3-5 meters/section. 10-15 feet. That's so cool. I always wanted to experience the feeling of being a step-by-step, Fa-Wei blew a whistle. Recipient. Can this spell be cast on others? There was a flash of light in Palin's eyes, and he apparently realized the power of this spell for the first time. Yes, I think we can go to the 5-story round hall to verify it. In addition to the rally, the 5-level round hall, the most important role is the apprentice's spell practice. Along with the whistling of Ziwei's fingertips and the mysterious syllables in the mouth, there will soon be a light blue halo appearing at the foot of the quasi-mage Palin. He subconsciously moved around, but his whole person seemed to be a lot lighter, and taking a foot is a big step, and the speed increase is obvious to all. Seeing this magical scene, other apprentices looked at Ziwei with a look. Ziwei quickly reminded everyone, the magic of this spell consumes about 4 standard magic. In fact, Ziwei is able to perform with 3 standard magics precisely because the Intelligent Core 0 is fully optimized for all aspects of the spell. It's already perfect. A ring spell Soul Oil can only increase the speed of 30 feet per second. This spell can have half the effect of a ring spell, but only consumes less than half of the mana. Deo, Ziwei, I have a strong zero-loop spell of Enhanced Frozen Ray on Zero Ring Addendum. It can send 2 frozen rays at a time and the power is not attenuated. Only 3 standard magics are needed. I hope can exchange with you. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 4. I am willing to come up with strong vertigo. This spell can greatly slow down the enemy's reaction speed, and requires 5 standard magic. Palin could not maintain his high cold, and quickly said. In fact, most of the strong Zero Circle spells described in the supplement to the Zero Circle spell are all enhancements to the Zero Loop spell, which is considered to be perfect. However, blasting is equivalent to the simplification of a ring of spells. It is equivalent to letting the magic apprentices feel some mystery of a ring of spells in advance. Even if the value of use is not considered, the research value alone is enough to make people tempted. What's more, blasting is such a practical spell. On the continent of Orient, the Soul Oil is located in the top 3 learning sequences of more than 95% of the masters. Soon, except for Ed, who did not resolve his own strong zero-ring spells, the other 5 exchanged strong zero-ring spells with Ziwei. Among them, Palin's strong dizziness is a strengthening of the dizziness beyond the 13 basic magics in the tower. It is of high value, so it is an equivalent exchange. The other 4 are also exchanging spells. It is necessary to compensate Ziwei for more or less casting materials. Therefore, on the 2nd day of the promotion of the magician apprentices, Ziwei not only harvested 5 strong zero-ring spells, but also obtained at least the various casting materials used by him for 1 month. In the next 3 days, Zero-Ring Addendum will be handed over to me for safekeeping. I will burn blasting as soon as possible and record the efforts of my classmates. Each page of the Zero Circle spell addendum has been imprinted with a secret spell. Only the unlocker can unlock it, so the book that Ziwei got has only unlocked 5 pages. Limited to knowledge and knowledge, these high-level magic apprentices are already the top talents in the tower, but they can only go forward on the road to the formal magician, and the Zero Circle spell addendum. The inspirational communication between the apprentices it brings has undoubtedly become the greatest expectation of everyone. Just as Ziwei, who was sitting alone in the corner of the library, was immersed in the new magic structure, the Zero voice sounded again. 5 new spell models have been detected, they have been burned, and they are starting to parse. It's a new genius. It seems that it is not difficult for him to become a formal magician. Fa-Wei looked at the focused Ziwei, and his eyes flashed a bit. He and Palin are the kind of people that people can only look up to. The gap is too big and the heart seems to be born. Ed shot the shoulder of Fa-Wei. I can only stay in the tower for the first half of the year. If you are not a formal magician at the age of 20, you will leave the tower forever. I don't know what kind of fate is waiting for me outside. Far away will be Aid's thin body clip. Under the arm, squeeze hard. The apprentices in the tower were squatting on the day of becoming a formal magician, and Ziwei had already turned his eyes to the farther side. His former love ship Explorer can cross the galaxy, shuttle the universe, the main cannon can destroy all the creatures on an asteroid. This ability can be compared to the gods, but his individual strength is minimal. These are two completely different modes of civilization development. One is to strengthen foreign objects, and the other is to strengthen themselves. Ziwei is looking forward to the day when he is on the new road, but now he can say that the weak is too small. A sharp blade, a drop of poison, a magic can make him lucky to escape from the supernova explosion at any time. The sacrifice of Zero and his own efforts was ruined. Therefore, the current Ziwei is so eager to learn and motivated that he has never had a lifetime. Strong vertigo, which acts on the nervous system of the human body and delays the reaction, can be delayed by about 30%. It is indeed a very useful apprenticeship magic. But obviously, there is room for improvement in this magic. The casting materials are Ningxuan and Hawthorn, and it should be possible to do an experiment to extract more pure anesthetic material, and the method of casting needs to be improved. Strengthen the frozen ray, the genius of creativity, can actually release two frozen rays at the same time through the balance of mental power. This may be the predecessor of the multicasting technique. It seems that Yang is also a potential teenager. With Zero help, my precision casting ability is already very good. Maybe you can learn from this spell and learn how to get started with multiple spells. Fa Wei and Linden's spells are only the enhancement of the power of the Zero Loop spell, which is not surprising to Ziwei, but Charlotte's spells have brought some surprises to Ziwei. Devil Summon, Residual, this is actually a weakened version of a ring spell. Only the restrictions are high, and the power of the magic pet has not diminished, but this is not comparable to the value of being able to have the magic pet in advance. Every formal magician can learn the summon call spell to summon a pet that is bound to his own soul. The shape and ability of the pet are different depending on the chosen casting material and different blood, but they are permanent, not only can assist the magician to fight, and even strengthen the magician's own ability. Of course, this spell is not without its drawbacks. If the magic pet dies, or the magician wants to change the magic pet, the magician himself will also suffer some damage due to the soul link. These damages are at the soul level. It is difficult to heal and may affect future progress. Therefore, the choice of the magic pet is very worthy of consideration for any magician, and its importance is not much worse than that of the marriage partner. However, this matter is not difficult for Ziwei. Due to the existence of the intelligent core Zero, Ziwei can completely hand over this part of the spiritual connection to Zero control. According to the literature, the magic pets are all spiritual, and some of the master's magic pets can even talk to people, with their own wisdom. Magic pet and Zero? Thinking of this, it seems that there is a flash of lightning flashing in the mind of Ziwei, which instantly illuminates the entire night sky. The next moment, the apprentices who are studying in the library are surprised to see the new high-level magic apprentice 11 Wei's feet flashing green brilliance, under the arm of a thick book, flying out of the door. In a small laboratory of about 10 squares that is unique to Ziwei, Ziwei walked around his own test bed, and kept on connecting with Zero in his mind. It takes 15 standard magic spells to cast. I have only 12 standard magics now, and it's very dangerous to cast all the magic in one cast. I have to optimize this part. Also increase the speed of magic. And the more advanced the materials are prepared, the higher the cap of the magic pet may be. I can't be too impatient at this point. I need to find a better material for Zero. Welcome to the book readers to read. Latest, the fastest, hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 5. The night has arrived, the silver moon is empty. Feeling the silver moon shining through the windowsill, Ziwei finally looked up from the experiment. the tired face with a happy smile, strong vertigo, already mastered. It takes 5 standard magics and replaces the magical grass as a test material tomorrow. Gently press your own temple with your thumb, although there is some slight swelling after the brain, but Ziwei obviously feels that his total magic is growing. Maybe in less than 3 days, he can grow again. A magical power. Ziwei, who completed the test, hurriedly packed up the belongings in the lab. Every night's meditation was a precious opportunity to restore and even enhance his magic. He had already wasted a little time. The blast was applied to himself. The foot of Ziwei was surrounded by a blue-green halo. The whole person walked fast and quickly passed through the corridor of the tower. However, when he passed through the storage room in the corner of the 4th floor of the tower, he heard a slight sound, and it seemed that someone was inside. There was hardly any sound in the Ziwei walk with the breeze. He subconsciously looked through the small window on the door to the storage room. The 2 figures of a man and a woman were standing opposite each other quietly. It is Palin and Charlotte. With the glory of MSU, Ziwei clearly saw the identity of 2 people. It was Palin, who was about to become a formal magician, and Charlotte, who had a goddess style. The day after tomorrow, you will be going to the magician promotion ceremony. Palin, when you are a real magician, I have only mastered 16 standard magic, maybe it will take 2 years to advance. I really don't want you to leave the tower so soon, don't know how long it will take us to meet again. The surface of Charlotte's skin under the silver moon reflects the bright light, and the wide magical robes can't cover her beautiful body. It is really a beautiful baby full of youthful vitality. However, the dream goddess of all male apprentices in this tower seems to have been famous. At this time, Palin has not looked like a high cold look. His face is full of gentle smiles. It is my life's glory and luck to be able to get the favor of Princess Jyoda. Anyway, I will not forget the beauty and kind to you. I will give you all the strong 0-ring spells I have mastered. I hope you can grow fast and become a true magician soon. Hearing here, Charlotte's beautiful big eyes have turned into crescents, and the joyful smile has been infiltrated from the red face. Thank you for your generosity, this is the best gift I have ever received. Do you still remember Galileo? Palin gently took over Charlotte's soft shoulders, and they stood shoulder to side at the window, leaving only a pair of backs to Ziwei. The last apprentice in the tower to be promoted to the official magician? I remember that was 2 years ago, Charlotte asked inexplicably. Yes, Galiola and I came to the tower together 10 years ago. We are very good friends. He is 4 years older than me. He has a talent for magical learning and is making rapid progress. So I have always had a lot of guidance from Galileo, and he left his magic notes to me before he was promoted. Palin's tone was very brisk, but it gradually fell. Galileo has always had a question. Gatlin's mentor has a whole tower for decades. He has been training the magician without any input. However, he rarely gives us lectures if he can really open these strong 0-ring spells to us instead of watching us groping alone. The pace of progress of apprentices will be too fast. If there are not enough teachers, why can't all the successful magicians stay to guide the apprentices? Is there any accident at the promotion ceremony? So he tried to carry out an in-depth study of the magical imprint of this spell. The secret imprint of our book on the Book of the Zero Circle spell addendum is the result of improvement. Unfortunately, it has not really come perfecting this spell. He already has 20 standard magics, and Gatlin's mentor held a promotion ceremony for him. In the past 2 years, I have completed the improvement of the spell of the secret law. I have left my own secret imprint on the title page of this book. If I am promoted successfully, this secret imprint will turn green. If it is successful, it is blue. If it is red, then I am no longer. How can you die? What you think is terrible. The shocked Charlotte hugged Palin tightly, trying to give him some comfort and warmth. This is only the worst possibility. Palin smiled softly. From the literature, the magician promotion ceremony is not dangerous, not to mention the experienced Gatlin tutor. The biggest possibility is me. The promotion is successful, the secret imprint becomes green. Charlotte, no matter what task Gartland's tutor has arranged for me, no matter if I travel thousands of miles away, as long as you successfully promote, it will be that we are both happy. The beginning of a bright future. The two figures in the moonlight are getting closer and closer, and eventually they merge into one. Zai Wei turned slightly and did not make a sound, and quickly returned to his room. Sure enough, it's not only me that I have this kind of confusion. Palin, and the apprentice named Galileo, also realized this. Palin has improved the secret imprint spell, which will be shrouded in the tower and exploration of the fog. I am looking forward to the answer given by Charlotte 2 days later. On the morning of the second day, Zai Wei was stopped by Palin on the way to the library. Zai Wei, I want to talk to you. Zai Wei shrugged and did not leave behind Palin. I was you last night, right? Entering the familiar storeroom, Palin turned and a pair of brown eyes stared at Zai Wei. Yes, I just finished the magic experiment passing by here, because curiosity stopped. I apologize to you here, but Palin, I wish you and Charlotte's sister. Zai Wei did not try concealed, a quasi-magician always has such hidden magic. When I heard Zai Wei's answer, Palin's face was slightly softer. You left in the night last night. I will not care. I will be promoted tomorrow, that is, the day I left the tower. I wonder if you can give me the burned blast first, otherwise I am afraid I have no chance of this spell. No problem, I happen to be with me. From his own magic notes, Zai Wei took out the parchment that was engraved with the spell model, spell casting techniques, and spell materials. Palin also solemnly took this parchment with light blue light and put it into his magic notes. He patted the shoulder of Zai Wei gently. Zai Wei, you are a very talented apprentice. In the current High Tower apprenticeship, you and Yang both have the opportunity to be promoted to the magician, hoping to have the day to see you again. 11 Wei smiled and did not answer. Palin thought about it and took 2 pages from his magic notes and handed it to Zai Wei. Charlotte is still in the tower. I hope you can take care of me. I am grateful. Spells are some unique zero-loop spells, very practical, which is a gift I gave to my schoolmates as a senior. The spells on the 2 parchments were listening and traveling, and Zai Wei did not deny it, so he took it. Palin is still a very human person. Zai Wei, who was commissioned by Palin, went to the laboratory again and began research on the strong vertigo casting materials. Zero was also constantly analyzing the enhanced ice ray and magic call. 2 are not delayed, the efficiency is fast. On the 3rd day, Palin, who wore the official magician gown in advance, traveled to the library of the high-level magic apprentices, and his face was filled with a confident smile. Come on, Palin, you are the pride of our magic apprentice. You will be promoted. High-level magic apprentice Yang went forward to encourage. Magician Palin. Please accept our admiration. Fa Wei bent down awkwardly, trying to salute Palin. Lyndon and Ed also did the same, causing the audience to laugh. Charlotte, who just walked in, wore a burgundy one-piece dress, half a smooth, white and sloppy back, with long hair rising up and a happy and joyful smile on his face. Between walking, the skirt angle is light, and the slender legs of the white swaying and swinging are really glamorous. The 2 people are facing each other, and the look in their eyes is getting hotter and hotter. Lyndon suddenly blew a sharp whistle and screamed and shouted, Pro, 1. Everyone who was present in the field except Merrill followed up, Pro, 1. The young couple in the blessing of other apprentices tightly embraced, the red lips are opposite, completed a farewell kiss. I am sorry to bother you, but Master Palin, Gatlin instructor is waiting for you in the 6th level core laboratory. I don't know when the butler Edward appeared here, and he also called Palin. For the mage. Waiting for the news of my successful promotion. Dear. Palin reluctantly pushed Charlotte away, followed by the steward Edward with a confident look, and embarked on the 6th floor of the tower. Charlotte's sister, when did you start? Palin just disappeared from the crowd, and Ed couldn't help but ask. Others are also curious about Charlotte. Obviously, the two people have been doing underground love. Charlotte smiled slightly and did not respond. Sci-fi observed a trace of anxiety and worry from her smile. On this day, all the high-level magic apprentices, including Yang and Meryl, did not continue to study the magical mind. Everyone chatted together and read the book, seemingly waiting for a good news, staring at themselves. As future. Charlotte sat in the corner of the library, and the title of a magic note with a bronze cover turned up. She stared at it quietly, seemingly awkward. The next moment, the screams screamed, and everyone's gaze was on the corner. The thick magic notes were lost by Charlotte, and the pages fell up on the ground. A bright red secret imprint is shining, red as blood. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, hottest serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 6. Palin is dead. For a moment, Ziwei sweated up and the pupils shrank to the extreme. The promotion ceremony from the magic apprentice to the magician is essentially a natural process. Only a few precious materials such as arcane crystal are needed, but the success rate of the promotion ceremony itself is extremely high. The probability of death after failure, even more minimal. Is raising a donkey only for cultivating a king? But obviously not. There is not such a strong confrontational atmosphere in the tower. In any case, this Gatlin tutor has big problems. Ziwei walked quickly to Charlotte, and put it in her ear and said softly, I want to talk to you about Palin. Upon hearing this sentence, Charlotte finally woke up from the state of absence, and despite being greatly frightened, she was not vulnerable to loss of reason. She nodded lightly, leaned over and picked up the magic notes, and walked out of the library behind Ziwei, leaving an unknown apprentice. What do you know? Just entering the lab belonging to Ziwei, Charlotte closed the door tightly, his chest undulating, like the angry little lion, asked Ziwei. Just a little bit. The night before I ended the experiment and passed through the storage room, I heard some news about the tower, Garilo, and the secret laws. Ziwei first carefully inspected the laboratory and then turned around. I came to calmly look at the excited girl in front of me. I think now we are a grasshopper on the rope. Palin is dead, Garilo is dead, and all are promoted or left at the age of 20. The apprentices of the tower are likely to have passed away. And as a high-level magic apprentice, we are undoubtedly the most valuable prey in Gatlin's eyes. Finally, the bones of Charlotte's body were taken out as if they had been pulled out. The whole person slowly slipped down the door along the door, and there were already crystal clear tears in her eyes. Her hands covered her face and whispered, It's useless, Palin is dead. Gatlin has been a formal magician for decades. We are just a little magic apprentice, and we can't fight against him. We can't escape. Charlotte, look up, look at my eyes. We really can't escape, all we can choose is confrontation. Since Gatlin only dared to hit the minds of our underage apprentices, then he would never. There will be too much strength. This is a tough challenge, we must be fully prepared. Fortunately, we still have enough time. Ziwei stared at Charlotte. Want to fight against the depths Gatlin? He must integrate all available resources and convince Charlotte that it is the first step. The girl in front of her looked up slowly, and her eyes seemed to start to shine. I hope that no among the magic apprentices, Yang, who has the strongest magic, has only 17 standard magical powers, so there is still at least 1 year away from the next magician promotion. Believe me, we can definitely come up with a way to get rid of the current predicament. Charlotte stopped crying, her skin was crystal clear, her eyes were red, and people couldn't help but want to give her more care. Zai Wei took out his handkerchief from the inner pocket of the magic robe and handed it to the girl with the pear in front of the rain. Dry the tears, Charlotte. The sacrifice of Palin is not meaningless. He made us understand our present. How sinister the environment is. This news is only for you to know that I know how many Gatlin's conceals are in the apprentices. I hope that you will keep your heart and not show too much in the next time. Emotions. In the future, I will use the communication technique to contact you and stay strong, Charlotte. Can I trust you? Zai Wei. Charlotte looked at the blonde boy who was 2 years younger than himself, but seemed to be too mature, and asked gently. I will not live up to your trust, Charlotte. The words of Zai Wei have a firm determination. Looking at the mood and the long skirt, Charlotte walked out of the room. 11 Wei sighed with a sigh of relief. The corner of his mouth had been squeezed out with a mocking smile. 0, did you find out? The new world is also so much colorful and challenging. It's really a life that makes people's heart beat faster but fascinated. All the apprentices in the tower were once again concentrated in the 5-story round hall. The apprentices in the round hall were active and festive like a bunny, because after 2 years, they finally got a magician promotion, Palin Master. It is the forerunner and the example of progress that they look up to. My lovely children. Welcome to your arrival. Today is a day to celebrate. Just now, Palin has been successfully promoted to a formal magician. I am sorry, according to the tradition of the tower, all the official magician can no longer appear here. However, he has already entrusted me with a gift for each of you. Each apprentice can receive a pound of candy, and the material of the next month will double. The apprentices in the tower are both teenagers and teenagers. After hearing that each person can get a pound of candy, one can't control the joy of the heart, cheering, then the birth of the Shining Lord. I still have to be excited. Zai Wei noticed that Charlotte was shaking slightly, bowed his head and covered her blue face with the long hair that had been laid down. Zai Wei has more energy on Gatlin. This guy who is already too old to walk, the skin seems to be more polished and the spirit is much more refreshing. In the memory of juvenile Zai Wei when he first came to this tower 6 years ago, Gatling's age is almost the same as it is now. The tower has been established for decades, it seems only Gatlin was a mentor from beginning to end. Even if the ordinary human beings in this world are disease-free and disaster-free, their life expectancy is only 60 or 70 years old. Only nobles and powerful professionals with strong blood power can improve their longevity through repeated promotion. And Gatlin, what can be so long-lived? As a matter of urgency, in addition to steadily improving one's own strength, the most important thing is undoubtedly to find out the secrets belonging to Gatlin and the tower. Know thyself, ever victorious. After perfecting the strong vertigo, Zai Wei began a study on transmission, which allows two people to talk softly over a distance, more than 50 meters or too many obstacles, then they cannot hear clear. And listening is a spell that temporarily strengthens the caster's own hearing. That night, Palin apparently discovered Zai Wei by this spell. These two spells are standard zero-loop spells, which only need a standard magic force to cast, and the spell structure is also very simple, but in the eyes of Zai Wei, these two spells have a good research prospect, the prototype of the phone and radar. Compared with these ignorant young girls in the tower, Zai Wei relies on a world that is completely inferior to this plane on a certain level. He naturally has an incomparable broad vision and high-level insights. With zero help, he can verify and realize his ideas one by one. No matter on which road, these abilities are the most important qualities of the road to the masters. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 7. Zai Wei, can you come to my lab? The girl standing in front of Zai Wei looked red and his head was slightly low. He seemed to dare not face him. It was with Zai Wei that he was promoted to a high-level magic apprentice. Meryl. When the two men had just closed the door of the laboratory, Ziwei found that the ice blue light was surrounded by Meryl's fingertips. It seemed that the condensed storm was thicker and thicker, but eventually it was calm and became a standing water. Blue mirror. Water mirror. It was only 5 days before the day when the two men were promoted to the magician apprentices. I didn't expect Meryl to build this spell and succeeded in the case of just watching Ziwei show it out. This is really enough to qualify the genius. How many apprentices in the tower, even with the model of a complete standard zero-loop spell, must be mastered and successfully cast for at least a month? Compared with ordinary people, Meryl is just like the pearl in the gravel. Very perfect. Ziwei did not hesitate to admire the language. It's a genius girl. Meryl, is your magic growing? There are now 11 standard magics. Meryl's eyes are bent like a crescent. This is my magic note. You can transcribe water mirror and blasting. If you don't understand anything, feel free to ask me. What is the most lacking in the 35th century? Talent. Even when it comes to a new world, the gap between people is visible to the naked eye, and the study of the magical path has a very high demand for the intelligence of the wizards. An ordinary wise man may be able to become a mage with money and relationships, but it is impossible to prove the master. Meryl is undoubtedly a very talented student. Just like Jin Jinyu, Ziwei couldn't help but give birth to the idea of teaching. Because there was no real mentor at the beginning, all the magical learning of Ziwei was based on his own needs and zero analysis, so he was able to resolve 7 zero rings in just 15 days after coming to the world. The spell and 3 strong zero ring spells have grown from 8 standard magic to 13 standard magic, and now is the time to practice whether your theory can work in other apprentices. Meryl does not seem to be affected by the principle of equivalent exchange between high-level magic apprentices. She is like a child who is attracted by the most beautiful toys. A pair of sparkling eyes have been stuck in the magic of Ziwei. The notes are on. Why should the 7th note of the 3rd paragraph use this structure? In order to stabilize the spell model, increase the duration. Why can't I try a 2-line composition here? This can increase the transfer rate. No, this is not simple and effective. According to the 2-line transmission, the magic consumption will increase a standard magic, and the increase in the speed of casting is not an immediate change. What is the function of the curve here? Why have I never seen it in basic magic structure analysis? Meryl really did not live up to the expectations of Ziwei. She is just like the same detector, all the pieces created by Ziwei independently, beyond the high tower, and excavated like a curious baby. The material of a natural scientist. Even if the genius became a formal magician at the age of 17, Palin, after getting the vortex spell model of Ziwei, was only happy to accept it, and there is no doubt. Because he is used to memorizing, remembering, and learning every spell he gets. For him, as long as he can master this spell, it is enough. As for the principle of each paragraph in this spell model, he can't and will not go investigate. Because this does not seem to help the growth of magic. Basic magic structure analysis. I remember that except for the first spell model we learned, Gartland's mentor led us to make a simple explanation of each configuration on this book. No one will go see it, Ziwei asked with some surprise. Although there are large and small libraries in the towers, there are not many books in the total. The most popular ones are the 13 standard zero-ring spells, which are some night novels, mainland biographies, and the like that allow the apprentices to relax. Miscellaneous books. Among the books in the tower, there are 3 well-known books: Fire and Water, Magical Origin, Destiny Under the Stars, and Analysis of Basic Magic Structure. The first one is some theoretical research on early magic. Since the earliest human magic is the Feng Shui magic spell learned from the elves, this book is full of elf language, plus pure theoretical research. People are completely confused, and almost no one can understand. The second one is about some descriptions of astrological spells, except that this book seems to be written by a female magician. Her words are full of occult and various weird descriptions, logical confusion, inconsistency, and simply like a mad gibberish. The third one is the boring theory that makes people hit the wall. The various formulas and composition make the space thinking ability and the mathematics talents unable to understand the apprentices, because this book is not written for the magic apprentice. If the first one has some powerful magic that is interested in elvish or someone trying to find hidden, the second one can learn superficial astronomical astrology theory to install a bi-baked girl, then the third one is no value waste, so it has been shelved. I think this book seems to be very valuable. Although I still can't understand many theories, I have written them down. I want to verify them slowly, Meryl replied with some embarrassment. Ziwei seems to have suddenly got some inspiration. These days, he has been aiming to increase the amount of magic and to advance to the official magician. It seems to be too impatient at present. Basic magic structure analysis? It seems to be very helpful for building a new spell model. As for the two remaining books of the three great books, it seems that there is also worth reading. When I think of it, Ziwei will completely tell Melil about all the mysteries related to Water Mirror, and after arranging the task of letting her study blasting, she will go to the tower. Large library on the third floor. In fact, after he advanced to the advanced magic apprentice, this is the first time to return to the familiar three-story tower. 11 Wei Senior. Hello, Senior. Seeing Ziwei on the chest with the gold medals representing the high-level magic apprentices, the passing apprentices enthusiastically greeted them. After all, Ziwei was just a person who had just risen from them, and everyone was familiar enough. Ziwei politely responded with a little bit and quickly stepped into the library. History of Ziwei, you are good, the bookstore is a 15-year-old brown-haired boy. It seems to be called Fernandez. When he saw the arrival of Ziwei, he was holding a book and he was flustered. Standing up, the book in his hand fell to the ground. The lingering light of Ziwei's eyes was swept, but it was the legend of Dragon Knight in the tower. This book is good, the whole tower is the most popular. The protagonist was originally a ruined aristocrat who died in Pili. Suddenly one day a red-haired girl passed out in front of his house, and the protagonist kindly rescued the girl, who knows that this girl turned out to be a girl red dragon who came to the human society to play. The girl dragon signed a magic contract with the protagonist in order to repay her. The two men, one person and one dragon, began to wander around the world, ventured everywhere, met many friends, and finally defeated the demon who occupied the castle, rescued the beautiful princess from the devil, the protagonist returning to the pastoral, and the princess, the red dragon, lived a life of sometimes 2 times and sometimes 3 times. The plot is far more ups and downs than the ordinary night novels, and the sense of substitution is also strong, plus the color of the plot is high quality, which male apprentice in the tower dare to say that he did not look at the book in the bed to secretly practice swords. Fernandez's heart is bitter, this book is hard to borrow, and everyone can borrow it for a maximum of 10 days. If you don't sneak up on this book with the convenience of being on duty in the library, how can you watch it again? If Ziwei's seniors ask me to borrow this book, how can I be good? He is a high-level magic apprentice. I will borrow 3 books, Fire and Water, Magic Source, Destiny Under the Stars, Basic Magic Structure Analysis. 11 Wei gently tapped the table. Should Ziwei's seniors borrow 3 great books? Fernandez came back to this moment, and he quickly leaned over and carefully picked up the beloved Dragon Knight legend and hid it, and then went to the bookshelf to find 3 great books. Ziwei, the 3 books are in, you are a high-level magic apprentice, once eligible to borrow 15 days, if not scheduled, you can also renew for 15 days. Welcome to the book friends, come and read, the latest, fastest and hottest serials are available at mobile users, please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 8. These 3 great books, the original Ziwei has not been seen, and now his magic is growing in a high-speed stable mode, but the primary goal has been changed from the promotion of the official magician to how to get from Gatlin. The palm of the hand breaks free and even beats him. Confined to the tower, it is difficult to get too much information. This has been the mysterious secret of the three great books, which has become the only item that Ziwei is currently likely to gain. Basic Magic Structure Analysis is really a very useful book. Although it is only a structural analysis of 12 common zero-loop spells, it contains some of the most fundamental and basic theories of spell construction. For Ziwei, who created the spell by the wilderness, he can still help him to take a lot of detours and save a lot of time. More importantly, Ziwei found that the book in his hand is only a residual, and there should be an analysis of a ring spell. Probably because of the lack of opportunity to give apprentices a touch of magic, the second half of the book was cut, and the cover and back cover of the book were clearly craft paper in two styles and textures. However, this simple and rude way obviously cannot completely prevent the transmission of knowledge. In the first half of the book, the author also mentioned arcane missiles, greasy techniques and secondary deflection fields when describing several zero-loop spell structures. These three one-ring spells, and a simple analogy analysis of their structure. So after reading the version of Basic Magic Structure Analysis, Ziwei has been able to understand more than 85% of the entire arcane missile spell structure, just like he has got most of the parts of a building block toy. It was only after they finally built them into a complete castle. The greasy and secondary deflection field only got less than half of the information, and it was impossible to deduct it in a short time. Just cast a ring of spells and consume at least 10 standard magic spells. Trying to cast a ring spell before you are promoted to the official magician is like a young man waving a sledgehammer, too easy to hurt yourself. Therefore, Ziwei just kept these spell structures in the bottom of my heart, waiting for the day when I was ready. And Destiny Under the Starry Sky really does not despise the name of the three great books, even if smart as Ziwei can only let zero record every sentence, but what is the meaning? It can only be huh. Just as the best desserts are always eaten at the end, Ziwei also deliberately left the book Fire and Shui, Magical Origin at the end. At this time, it was already the red sun and the west slanted silver moon high hanging. Ziwei put the book under his arm and intended to bring it back to the room. Juvenile Ziwei's own magical talents almost all show the related aspects of geothermal feng shui. The speed of acid splash and frozen ray is much faster than other zero-loop spells. Juvenile Ziwei learning Elvish is very talented. Based on these 2 points, Ziwei can only derive a conclusion: he has a fairy blood. However, it may be because the blood ratio of the elf is not high. I have not inherited the sharp ear that is most easily recognized by the elf, but the extraordinary appearance and the delicate skin of the elf are obviously the advantages that the elf bloodline brings to myself, and more. Valuable talent for learning magic. The title of Fire Feng Shui, the source of magic, is very aggressive, just like how many curses are recorded on it, but in fact, this is just a story about humans who just learned magic from the elves about 3,000 years ago. Some of the stories, as well as those of the most primitive magic and subsequent innovations. The large-scale elf language in the book is not all the magic spells that Ziwei expects. Many of them are the words of the elves and the words of communication. In general, this book is nothing more than a semi-generic semi-elf language, which seems to be a more forceful biography. Of course, the author is a mage who has a deeper research on the history of magic. Some of the old stories told in this book are the spirit of Ziwei. 3,000 years ago, on the continent of Orient, it was the pattern of the two empire of the orcs, the elves, and the empire. At that time, the human strength was far less powerful than the orcs. The magic could not be compared with the elves, but only with the goblins and the kobolds. These species are a class of lower creatures. The two emperors and orcs provoked long-lasting disputes due to the intensified trafficking of elf slaves, and eventually became a full-scale war. In the first 15 years, The elf festival triumphed and hit the Akshata, the capital of the Orc Empire. However, in the end, due to the low fertility rate and the long period of talent cultivation, the lack of success, not only failed to consolidate the occupied area, but the Orc Empire that was slowed down has pushed forward the elves. In the end, the helpless Queen Elf was forced to arm the human beings who were originally regarded as lower creatures because of their strong learning ability and fertility. It was at that time that humans learned magic from the elves for the first time. Learn the power from the orcs, learn the magic path from the elves, inherit the blood from the powerful species such as dragons and demons, and continue to innovate and create. Human beings are getting stronger and stronger. After 3,000 years, human beings eventually become Orient. The mainland's masters, the elves and the orcs, were rushed to the wilderness. The talent of the elf's magic is innate, even the warriors and hunters will have some simple low-loop spells. It is the darling of nature. The elves are simply the creations of gods. Their appearance is so perfect compared to human beings. The average life expectancy is up to 1,000 years, 20 times that of human beings. What is even more embarrassing is that when elves learn magic, their each ring can additionally comprehend an elf's unique spell. This spell is used as a soul spell, and the spell consumption and cast time are reduced to a minimum, and have a very high priority. When I saw this paragraph in the book, 11 Ways' eyes suddenly brightened, and what made him happy was that the next big elf language was exactly how to get the prayers of the elves' exclusive spells. Why not try it? You have to know that you have an elf lineage that you don't know much. 11 Way quickly got up from the bed, his legs crossed his knees, sorted out his clothes, and took a deep breath to calm down, which slowly entered the state of meditation. Ms. Silver Moon is on, please listen to my soul. I will melt into nature, let go of everything, and come to the other side of the dream. Although a sentence of prayer was read, the fully invested Ziwei gradually seemed to enter the state of the soul, but at this moment he did not panic because he felt as if he had returned to the mother's arms, a kind of full of the feeling of warmth, trust, and love. Just when he wants to enter the deepest meditation completely because of this warm love, he has always kept a message at the level of the soul. Warning, high energy particles are detected around the master, level LV5, cannot be granted asylum, please end the meditation state as soon as possible. Welcome to the book friends to visit, the latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile phone users please read. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 9. At this moment, around the West is the original warmth and joy and the purest love. This feeling is very intoxicating. Even those who have the firmness of steel cannot resist the care of this love. The same is true for Ziwei, but the intelligent Core Zero is still doing its duty to defend Ziwei's last line of defense. Ziwei, who suddenly woke up, was caught in a choice. He had an intuition. If you enter the mysterious realm, you should be able to get the most legendary in the whole of the Orient continent, Silver Moon Ms. Elena concern and blessing. Will Elena find out that she is different? To know that the mystery of Ziwei is different, now he is full of challenges in front of an unknown Master Gatlin, let alone one of the most powerful existences in the world. However, the other side of the risk is the opportunity. Even if the purebred elves can get the blessings of Ms. Yenyu, there are very few, let alone the half-elves of the mixed blood. These opportunities, missed, there is no second time. Coupled with the legendary Silver Moon Ms. Elena seems to be a quiet and mysterious existence, in addition to sheltering the elves, she does not seem to have any ambition or thoughts. Thinking of this, Ziwei resolutely entered the state of meditation again, and in the moment of his meditation, if he felt a sense of the starry sky in the heart of the lake. When the moon is empty, the night is silent, the stars are lingering, and everything is silent. Only the glory of Ms Yenyu is like the mother touching the child and sprinkling on the body of Ziwei, slowly infiltrating the whole body and the whole soul. As a baby in the shackles, Ziwei slowly fell asleep and entered a deeper level of tranquility. When Ziwei wakes up again, the sky is bright, the whole body is warmed by the sun, and he feels refreshing and comfortable like never before. After coming to this world, Ziwei has been studying magic with desperation. Even in meditation and rest, Zero is constantly performing magic analysis and virtual experiment simulation, which has a lot of consumption and burden on his body and spirit. However, last night, the Zero of the soul with his soul level was also blocked by some mysterious power. The collective name of the wizard's exclusive spell is the Blessing of Iluna, and Ziwei has got his Zero Loop spell, the Eye of the Silver Moon. This spell can effectively detect magic traps, magical light of items, and with the growth of strength and proficiency in spells, you can also find stalkers from the shadows and insight into the subtle changes in things. And when Ziwei is under the illumination of Ms Yenyu, the power of all the Iluna's Blessings series of spells will be further increased. Compared with this spell, the Zero Loop spell that Ziwei learned, Detecting Magic, is simply a bridge over the overbearing president, completely a waste of nothing. At this moment, Zero seems to be awake from a dormant state. The core self-test has been completed, the basic intelligent module is intact, the primary intelligent module cannot be used, the overall damage degree is 98.7%. The owner's physical condition detection, power is 0.75, agility is 1.23, endurance is 0.88, total magic, 15, the current magic, 15. Ziwei sets the standard adult strength, agility, and endurance on the Orient continent to 1, which is convenient for evaluation. Of course, this is also the most popular scoring standard for Ziwei as a senior game player. At present, it is only very accurate to activate only the zero-based detection of the module, but the detection of others is not accurate. Total magic 15? Ziwei suddenly found that his magic limit had increased by 2 points overnight, reaching the minimum requirement for the magic call, disability. Regarding the call of the devil, other materials, Ziwei, have already prepared some. Even if they are not enough, they can be exchanged with the apprentices in the tower. However, the most important core material of the summoning ceremony, jewelry, has not been settled. Each jewel on the continent of Orient contains more or less magical energy, different types, different levels of energy. Of course, these differences will also give the summoned magic pet completely different shapes and attributes. But simple rules are still there. The type of energy contained in a jewel is often the type of magic that can be added to a magician. In the book The Legend of the Dragon Knight, the princess who is a magician uses a gorgeous jewel named the Pearl of the Ocean Crown to summon a dragon of water as a magical pet, a great increase. Her ability to control the magic of the water system. Of course, it's still impossible for a magic apprentice, Civ, to have a gem that doesn't need to be too perfect. The energy contained in those gemstones is too violent and uncontrollable for him. He only needs a gem that he can now fully control. That's it. What is the ability to strengthen itself? There are also many wizards who use the rare red jade agate as the core material to summon the magical pets in order to make up for their lack of physical fitness. Some use the thundering gemstone as the core material to make up for their lack of speed. For Ziwei, the most important meaning of summoning the magic pet is whether you can let Zero return to the original wisdom through the ceremony. Others are not so important, it is not possible to replace it in the future. Thinking of this, Ziwei decided to take Water Mirror out and share it with other high-level magic apprentices in exchange for some suitable jewelry. Although Ziwei, who has just advanced high-level magic apprentices for less than half a month, has taken 2 homemade strong zero-ring spells in a row, it seems that there is no better choice. When Ziwei was finished eating breakfast and came to his own laboratory, the girl Meryl had quietly stood by the door. For this scene, Ziwei has become accustomed to it, because in these 2 days, Meryl seized every opportunity to ask Ziwei, eager to learn from Ziwei. However, when the two were just seated and had not started to communicate, the soft knock on the door sounded. "Please come in." "I didn't bother you," walked into Charlotte, a black magic robe, holding a magic note in her right hand, the one that Palin gave her that night. Today's Charlotte does not have the charm and enchanting charm of the past, but with the scholarly book, and the melancholy mood of these days, so that everyone who sees her will endure. Can't help trying to give her some comfort and encouragement. Seeing Charlotte, Ziwei is also a bright spot. When he first met Charlotte, he smelled the jasmine fragrance on her body. The apprentice in front of him got most of the property belonging to Palin. It is definitely a tall tower. One of the best apprentices in the apprenticeship. What's more, he and Charlotte have formed a secret alliance against Gatlin. It is a good way to exchange gems from Charlotte. Welcome to the book, friends. To read, the latest, the fastest and hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 10. It's been 3 days since Palin's death. Charlotte has also emerged from the initial panic. Now her interest in Ziwei is not just a little bit, because this young high-level magic apprentice teenager it has the maturity and wisdom that is beyond her expectation, and has a profound and unpredictable magical power. Charlotte is a clever girl. She realized very early that her beautiful appearance and awkward body can bring her own benefits. Whenever she comes to her own confusion, she asks those excellent seniors to ask. Can get the most careful answer from the other party. After becoming a couple with Palin, he got many esoteric strong zero-ring spells and Palin's unreserved guidance. However, even in such a good environment, her progress speed is only generally fast. 17-year-old 16 standard magic has exceeded the apprenticeship of Jyoda 90%. However, let's not say that Palin Bai, who has been promoted to the official magician at the age of 17, is quieter than Wen. At the age of 16, he has reached the standard magic of 17, and there is also a visible gap. Learning the talent of magic, she is just not bad, but not the top. This newly promoted 2 high-level magic apprentices, not unfathomable Westway, 14-year-old Meryl spent all day sleeping and forgetting to invest in magical learning has already made her pressure on the mountain, not to mention the recent appearance of Meryl wrapped in Ziwei. What secrets does Ziwei have to keep Meryl as a puppy around the owner's feet? It can only be magic. Thinking of this, she smiled and asked the girl in front of her, "Meryl, how much magic have you grown up now?" 12 copies. Innocent Meryl answered without any defense. Charlotte's eyes twitched slightly and the pupils contracted. Meryl found that he had reached 10 standard magics in the test 7 days ago before he advanced to the high-level magic apprentices. It's only a week later, it's already 12. Standard magic? Is this time studying with Ziwei students? Yes. What is it to learn? Charlotte continued to ask. Ziwei coughed and interrupted the communication between the two. At this time, Meryl reacted. She suddenly glared at Charlotte as she saw the big bad guy. The little mouth was tightly held and she said nothing. Charlotte took a deep breath and calmed down the mood. This allowed the little girl who had been dug out the key information and turned to Ziwei and asked, "I don't know if I can follow you like Meryl." Learning. Her posture is very low, her head is very low, and it is so low that Ziwei is able to cross her black magic robe neckline to see her career line. 1 sheep is also rushing, and 2 sheep are also rushing. There is a jewel in the matter that Charlotte's Ziwei has made a decision to trade, but he has been indulging for a long time and making a kind of thinking. I need some gems, no limit to the type, the higher the magic content, the better, 11 Wei said lightly. Do you need a gem? I really have it here. A sea bream, a purple jade, a turquoise stone, I can take it to you for a moment. Charlotte's lips are slightly open, and the eyes are flashing. Ziwei nodded. Charlotte's eyes were speechless and looked at the reaction that Ziwei seemed to take for granted. After a while, he slammed his feet and twisted his waist and walked out quickly. Charlotte, really a very interesting girl. You can say that she is motivated, or she can say that she is snobbish, you can say that she is adaptable, and she can be said that she is ignorant, you can say that she will be sociable, or that she is a green tea girl. In general, she will make the best use of all her resources, go forward, and achieve her goals, is an uncompromising self-interest. This kind of person can make people feel uncomfortable and can't seem to be deep, but it is also the easiest person to succeed. However, for Ziwei, there was no loss in this transaction. He did not spend money to get the gems needed for the magic pet call, and he also got a free experimental object. Just one Meryl, it seems that I can't verify that the magic I created and the related theories are perfect, and what are the hidden drawbacks? Ziwei turned his head and saw a tangled look, seeming to be making a difficult decision of Meryl. I don't mind what I just did, Charlotte won't reveal our secrets. But I hope that you won't easily tell others about your secrets in the future, only trust those who are trustworthy. Ziwei feels that it is still necessary for Mei Ler said the last two sentences. After all, the girl in front is so naive and pitiful. When he heard Ziwei, Meryl slowly opened the neckline of his magic robe and took a string of necklaces from the delicate neck. This is a piece of carved, about the size of a walnut, into a dodecahedron of pale blue crystal. There is no trace of impurities in the crystal, dazzling, flawless. Cyan crystal. Compared to the mixed magical energy contained in various jewels, only the arcane crystal contains almost pure single energy, so it is widely used by magicians to make magical items, and is also the most precious jewel. The blue crystal is the arcane crystal with the purest energy of the wind. The blue of the sky, the wind of the wind. Meryl gently opened the metal buckle of the necklace from the blue crystal, and placed the blue crystal on the hands, as if holding the most precious treasure. Meryl's eyes were full of nostalgia and warmth, but she still steadfastly extended it to the front of Ziwei. This is your treasure of home. It is too precious, I can't. You can take it back. This pale blue crystal is more than just a piece of jewelry, it obviously also holds the most precious feelings of Meryl. This is a gift from my mother. I was robbed when I was 7. This crystal was contained in my mouth and I was not discovered by the pirates. I have never opened my mouth for 3 days. No food, no water. Hearing here, Ziwei gently took the girl who was shivering in front of her because she was in a state of trepidation. There have been 2 lines of tears falling from her cheeks like a broken pearl. I am homesick. I want my mother. I am desperately learning magic, just to become an official magician at an early date, leave the tower, and go back to see my mother. Meryl screamed excitedly, my mother has always been very weak, I am more sad after I was robbed. I don't want to wait until I can leave the tower, but I can't see her. Meryl cried in the embrace of Ziwei and could not calm for a long time. Ziwei also tried his best to give the girl in front of him enough warm care, as he did last night at Ms Yenyu. After a long time, Meryl just looked at Ziwei firmly. Thank you for Ziwei. You are a person with great wisdom. After studying for a few days, my magic will grow rapidly. I believe that the day of promotion to the official magician will not be too far. This crystal is my mother's sustenance, but if it can help you, take it. Don't be polite. Looking at the light that blooms in Meryl's eyes, Ziwei has some headaches. Is this pale blue crystal good? Of course it's so good. Reject Meryl? I am afraid that it will hurt the girl's heart again. Meryl, who has been weak and shy, is so rare to say so much to others. Thinking of this, Ziwei made the decision, well, this blue crystal, I will accept it. Just as your tuition. As long as you like, in this life, you are my Ziwei student. Meryl quickly nodded hard, laughing with tears. Cute welcome to the readers to read, the latest, Fastest, the most popular serial works at mobile users. Please read.